Hello, and welcome to Marriage Unchained, the art of one flesh, where saving marriages, saving families, and saving souls is the flavor of the day. Now, let's join our host and author of Marriage Unchained, Catholic Alpha Radical, Jerry Jacobs Jr.
Welcome to Catholic Alpha Radical Live, where I help you fix your Catholic marriage. I've coached and helped hundreds of men in their marriages, and now I want to help you. Call 313-RADICAL now. That's area code 313-RADICAL, and ask me anything on tough marital issues, such as what to do when she's asked for divorce, what to do when you have a mutual agreement of separation but you didn't want it, what to do when your wife is cold and distant, what to do when your wife is having an affair, what to do when your marriage is bad, boring, lukewarm, and passionless, what to do when you engage in a marital embrace less than once a month, what to do when you sleep in separate bedrooms, what to do when she has left the home with or without the children, what to do when you're divorced but didn't want it. Call 313-RADICAL. That's area code 313-723-4225. That's area code 313-723-4225. Again, call 313-RADICAL right now for answers to intimacy problems, communication problems, prayer and spiritual warfare problems, authentic masculinity problems, aka how to man up. So sit back, relax, take a chill pill, and get ready to rock. But don't duck. Can you feel it? Catholic Alpha Radical coming at you now. Hello and welcome to Catholic Alpha Radical Live, the podcast that helps you fix your Catholic marriage while also giving men winning tactics for marriage problems, girlfriend problems, and intimacy problems for men. But moreover, my main mission is to keep you out of divorce court. And we're Marriage Unchained, the art of one flesh, divorce combat coaching is the flavor of the day. While also helping men understand marriage and courting, not dating in the Catholic faith. Why? Because dating is for sex and courting is for marriage. In this 121st episode, Catholic dating tips on sex before marriage, why dating is for sex, and I just said it, and courting is for marriage, part 2. Plus live calls from you answering your marriage and crisis questions. So get in that queue at 313-RADICAL. That's 313-723-4225. Or call in from your browser at callinstudio.com/radical1 for some resolution to your marriage confusion. Quote of the day. Quote, to be an infallible lover, the first thing you must recognize that sex is and must always be holy. It must make you holy. It must make your beloved holy. It must lead you to him who is holy. End quote. Gregory J. Popchak, PhD, book Holy Sex, a Catholic Guide to Toe Curling, Mind-Blowing, Infallible Love. Bam. I've helped hundreds of men in their marriages. Allow me to help you in yours. Get live Catholic marriage help Monday through Friday, 10 a.m. Eastern, for some resolution to your marriage confusion. All right. So let's get right into it today. Let's get into our content. But first of all, get in that queue. If you're having problems where you're not understanding, if you're a young man and you're dating a girl, you not know where you're going to go, and if you have any kind of communication problems, or or she's pressuring you to do things, that intimacy wise that is against the church, don't want to do, but you like her, then give me a call. Other than that, let's get in rocking today on this content. So, as promised, today's radical rant, we answer the question: why is dating for sex and courting for marriage? How to build a holy lover foundation before actually getting married. And basically, we covered the first 8 yesterday, the show before this, and that we covered like why dating is purely for sex. That's what people have it for, and had basically date for. They don't think they do, they don't say they do, but that's what it's for. And so we covered the 8 things yesterday, and today we're going to briefly go over them real quick once we get to that segment, and then we're going to get into today's 8 things of why courting is for marriage. I say this every time at the beginning of my show, and I do it because I like it, for one, and it's true. And so I think that people need to understand intimacy and what it's about, especially when it pertains to God. And so basically, it's important that men prepare for marriage before marriage. It's called marriage prep, and I understand that the Catholic Church has marriage prep, and it's like 6 months. Sometimes now they just have it's like 6 weeks or something. So it varies. It used to be, definitely was 6 months straight. So if you were a couple and you were planning on getting married in the Catholic Church, in the faith, you knew that you had to plan for that. So it'd probably be a year out. So you had to go 6 months of premarital counseling, and then 6 months to plan it, kind of like that. So why is dating for sex? Dating is for sex because people don't know how to date. They don't know what dating is for. Dating is to get to know the person, to really, on the first date, you're really just trying to see, am I interested in him or interested in her? Does she, is she attractive to me? Is she attractive to me? Do we converse? Do we converse really effortlessly? Or nobody's talking, right? Or it's hard to talk. Once both people are introverts or whatever. Then you're trying to see if you have things in common, if you could be friends. And if you could be friends with that person, man, that's definitely a foundation for a great marriage. And a lot of women don't believe that and think that. They look at it like, well, I don't look at you like that. But see, guys know instinctively that if I can get a girl to be my friend, the door is open. It's really open, right? Next, we're going to talk about a little bit of why is courting for marriage. Courting for marriage because that's how you man up. I talked to a guy, and he dated the girl for 7-8 years, and the girl finally said, "Man, it's enough of that." No woman wants to hang around with a guy for 6, 7, 8 years. She's expecting him to eventually ask me to eventually ask her to marry him. Right? And if you as a woman don't really understand that, or male don't understand that, it's gonna cause problems. Okay. And courting is the best way to figure out without intimacy, because why? Intimacy clouds things. When you start having sex with people, man, body fluids all over the place and stuff, it clouds things. Your mind gets cloudy, emotion clouds things. And if you don't know that as a man, most men don't even know that if I have every woman that I've ever had sex with my whole life, I am now bonded to her for the rest of my life. If it was 6 women or 10 women or 100 women, you are bonded to that person, and it ain't going away. It's called oxytocin, right? So that's how God set it up. So my thing is, when I talk to you men, I just don't say, well, God says this, because most people don't even care really these days. They really don't. Unless you really love God, and you really want to try to understand how to be holy and how to not have a lot of problems in your life by following the natural law. Most people go, yeah, God says that, but see, what I do is I bring it down home to you. Like, well, if every woman you have sex with, you bond to her for the rest of your life. Most guys don't know that. Believe me, for everything, every sin we do, there's consequences. Sometimes the consequences are just spiritual, like on our soul, which is really bad. Sometimes the effects are physical, like we get sick or something. But most times the consequences are physical and spiritual, and it can mess with you psychologically too. Okay, so how does sex harm? How does sex before marriage harm the woman? It harms the woman because she's a receiver. And women, they can't take trauma like men can take trauma. I mean, emotional trauma, psychological trauma, and stuff like that. Why? Because women are made to be emotional. Why? They're emotional because so they can bond with the children and nurture you, okay, their husband. So when traumatic things happen to women, like sleep with a lot of not just a lot of sex partners, even one sex partner outside of their husband, it damages their soul. It damages them psychologically. It damages them emotionally, where they can't deal with it. It's cloudy to them. It really. And then once a woman sleeps with you, it's hard for her to leave you and separate herself from you. That's why, I'm very direct when I talk to women about closing their legs, because it ain't no joke. It's not a joke. It's not it's not a game. Every man that you sleep with as a woman, man, it damages you. And then when you do find the man that you want to spend the rest of your life with, and you actually marry him, you're gonna bring all that crap that you had with those other guys, you're gonna bring them in your marriage and screw your marriage up. That's how it happens. I've seen it happen so many times. Okay. How does sex harm men? Sex harms a man because once a man sins so much, he becomes numb to the sin. Like, sleeping with other women and sex and stuff, and not sleeping with his wife. That really harms a man, and psychologically too. It harms his soul though. And what happens is he has baggage too, but men a lot of times can deal with stuff a lot bit better than women can when it comes to that. And then of course, when a man gets married and finds the woman he wants to marry, then he brings his baggage too. Okay. So what is pleasure? Why is pleasure the ultimate goal in our society? Well, because we have nothing else. We have nothing else in our society today. Everybody's miserable. Everybody's jacked up on medication because they can't deal with nothing. Why? Because they're not praying. They don't have the Creator in their lives, and people really think that the doctors can solve everything. And doctors can't really solve nothing. They really can't. They give you a pill, but does that pill solve anything? No, a pill just like mass stuff. It masks it. Like if you're depression, you have to give a depression pill and you'll mask your depression a little bit. But then people hurt themselves on depression medication, don't they? So the first thing that I always try to get guys to do is to get the toxins out of your body, slam your body out, get yourself all the way down, fast, drink a lot of water, get all that crap out, and then see how you feel. Then if you feel you're not feeling any better, then maybe go see a doctor. And even then you got to be careful. Okay. But we've eliminated God in every form, in every part of our society. And pretty soon they're going to start trying to get God out of our own homes. We think that can't happen, but it really can. Okay. So ultimately we need God in our schools. We need God in our in the government, on the courthouse steps. Why? Because marriage and God are a facet of all of our lives. If you think about it, marriage and is the center and core of the universe. Without marriage, you don't really even have a country. Listen, if we keep destroying families, we're going to be putty for the Chinese. We will be putty for them. Just like, other countries that aren't strong in the family thing. Family, not having families makes you weak. Not having marriage makes you weak as a country. All right. So after the break, we're going to get into it. We're going to really rock it. So stay with me so that we can get into courting and sex and the difference and how it can help you. And if you are an older person, like, 40, you got children. You got children. You're not, not trying to get married, but you have kids and daughters and sons. It's important that you know this stuff because you got to be able to explain it to them. Because now we all tell our kids, now don't go out there and have sex. And what do our kids do? They go out there and have sex because we can't tell them the consequences, the real consequences of it. Like I just told you about how it harms women. How many people know that? And so we've got to be able to tell our daughters this. We got to be able to tell our sons this. to explain to them how when they make love, it's not making love. I shouldn't even say that. That was stupid. When they have sex, that they are harming not just themselves but the other person. And I look at it like this: once I tell my kids something and tell them the consequences of what's gonna happen, they grown. They gonna do what they gonna do, you know. And of course, they gonna mess it up, but we all mess it up. But then how do you recover from that, right? So hang out with me. We'll be right back. And we're gonna get rocking on today's content. Give me a caller. Bam. If you're getting value from this podcast and would like more personal marriage help, visit SaveMyCatholicMarriage.com for an opportunity to work with me personally for free. Yes, within 30 days, learn how to become a better husband that attracts your wife back to you. Visit SaveMyCatholicMarriage.com and get a plan tailored specific to your marriage and situation. I've helped hundreds of men in their marriages. Allow me the chance to help you using my personal and gained experience. Visit SaveMyCatholicMarriage.com for superior coaching for your marriage. Again, SaveMyCatholicMarriage.com. That's SaveMyCatholicMarriage.com to become the man God created you to be and the husband your wife needs. Lastly, I always get the question, why don't you help women? And I always answer them, I do. So, for all of you beloved wives out there that want to reignite that feeling of emotional closeness and complete love from your hubby, consider marriage coaching and visit SaveMyCatholicMarriage.com for an improved marriage within 30 days. Hey, we back. So let's get right into it. Again, if you're a young man or a young woman and you're in a relationship and you're not really understanding the sex thing, the consequences, or you got a question on how to deal with it, or if you're a woman, you want to get a man to ask you to marry her, I can help you with that. So give me a call, 313-RADICAL. That's 313-RADICAL. So let's get on it. So, as promised, reveal the top 16 reasons that dating is for sex and courting is for marriage. Today, we're going to cover part 2 of that. And yesterday, we covered the first 8. And the question was, why is dating for sex? So, we're going to go over those 8 real quick. I'm not going to stay on for long. I'm going to jump on them and jump in and jump out so we can have time to spend more time on the other subject really quick. So why dating is for sex? Why? Number 1, we are not focused on the person, but what we can get out of them. Not really considered what is best for her, but what you want, which is selfishness. We have to understand that when we are with our beloved, with our wife, or with the woman that we say we want to marry, we can't be focusing on ourselves, right? We must focus on her. And so that she understands that you're number one, that she's number one, because if you can't show your wife and your fiance that she's number one now, how can you show her that when you guys get married? Another thing too, focusing on yourself instead of her is basically selfishness. Okay. And basically sleeping with her is selfishness because she's using up her body and her soul and using up her youth and her beauty. Okay. Next, number 2, why dating is for sex. We are just trying to get in her pants. Boom. I said it. Don't kill the messenger. It's the truth. Most men, I can almost say all men. I can almost say it, but I ain't going to say it because people get mad when you say, oh, you're saying all of them. But men, we all know the deal. We get with a woman, especially when we're young. Our main goal today, look at these young boys out here. What they want to do. They just want to get in the girl's pants. They don't really care nothing about her. They tell her they love her, but they really don't, And so it's our job as fathers to let our girls know what the deal is and teach our boys about that. We don't, that's something, having sex with a girl just for that, you don't really care about her and you're not trying to marry her. That's why dating is for sex. Because that's all people really want to do. So next, number 3 of why dating is for sex, we're just seeking to get pleasure. That's all men are today. We're pleasure seekers, right? Fun, fun, fun. Happy, happy, happy. YouTube, Facebook, golfing, fishing, whatever. If we love work, we stay at work all the time. We're all about pleasure. So if all about pleasure, when a woman comes along, what do we want to do? We want pleasure from her. So that's the feminine. That's the masculine. We can't talk to the girl. We can't get to know the girl. We can't even know if we want the girl to be our friend or not. We're too busy trying to just have, lust with her and be with her. And believe it or not, most girls, they see that. But if a woman thinks you're cute, if a girl thinks you're cute and thinks you're interested and funny, she'll let you go a lot farther than right off the bat if she doesn't like you. Okay. Number 4, why dating is for sex, is we have no real goal to get married. Okay. That's what a real man is. I don't care if you're 16 or 106. That's what a real man is. You're trying to get married, create a family, build a future, and create a great marriage and lead that family towards God. And if you're a woman and you got a knucklehead that ain't thinking like that, you need to get rid of him, toss his butt to the curb, because all he's going to do is cause you a ton of misery. Okay. Next. Number 5, we only want to have so-called fun. Yeah, right. Fun. We have fun. We lose control. We have sex with her. We lose control. And then it's over, right? We don't want her no more. So we're going to go to the next girl to have fun with her. But really, after you sleep with so many girls, what do you have? What are you really accumulating? You're not feeling that gut, because most dudes we sleep with, we're trying to have fun and pleasure, and we know that and pleasure and fun don't last long. It doesn't. And so basically you have an empty hole in your gut that only the infinite can fill. And who's the infinite? God. Okay? This is why people think that people come to God because, God is some kind of crutch or something. Well, I think it's great as a crutch. Hey, because basically God has us out here in this wilderness, and it would be unfair for him to stick us out here without any kind of grace or help. That wouldn't be right. But see, God ain't like that. God knows the end game is to be in the beatific vision with him. And if all we're doing is thinking about ourselves and being selfish, then what does that say about us? We will never get towards God like that. You will never have a woman that truly loves you. You will never have a family kids that truly love you. And basically, you'll have nothing. You'll always be empty inside, because a man will never be fulfilled as a man until he's willing to die for something. And that's the truth. Okay. So number 6, she is just a means to an end, an object, a fork, a knife, or a spoon. She's just a thing to use. That's why dating is for sex. Right? Because the woman, all she is a source of our pleasure. Right? And here's the thing. Men are the ones called to control themselves. Women ain't called to control themselves. Men are called to control ourselves. Why? Because that's what Christ did. Christ controlled himself. Christ did the will of God, even when he really didn't know in his human form what was going on. But he did the will of God anyway, because he trusted God, right? And so he kept in control. So when it comes to women, it's called protection. It's our job to protect our wife from us. It's our job to protect our fiance from us. It's our job to protect our girlfriend from us, because we can hurt them more than anybody else. So if we're sitting there and we're having intimacy with them every day, every week, and we're living with them and using up their body and their youth and their beauty and their vitality, what she can be using to get the man that's going to love her for the rest of her life and be her husband, are we really being the man we think we are? Are we? Number 7, dating wastes her time and prevents her from finding her eternal love. So with women, this is number 7 of why dating is for sex. So for women, the most important thing a woman has is her time. even more than men. Of course, time is important to everybody because time runs out. But for women, it's even more a drastic thing. That's why you heard me say at the beginning of this podcast that women cannot be we cannot be wasting our time. And when with a woman, her time is what? Her beauty, her vitality, and her youth. To be able to have children, time is hard on women. They start getting wrinkly. The sun affects them. They start losing their hair. They start, getting a little weight on them and flabby, and then that's why you heard me say at the beginning, the dude living with the girl for 7-8 years. We living with a woman for 7-8 years, man, and then we don't marry her. What is wrong with us? We have no commitment. That's what you got to tell your sons, that men don't only do what we make them do. Think about your sons. Your sons only do what you make them do, especially when they was younger. I say 16 and below. They only do what you make them do, right? That's how all men are. We only come to the rescue when it's an emergency. We procrastinate. So with women, if a woman opens her legs and allows a man to have sex with her and she's not married to him, she's asking for trouble. Because once a woman has sex with a man, she loses all control in the relationship. Right? As long as the woman does not have sex with the man, she is in control of the relationship. She is. But women don't know their power. They're too busy trying to be feminazis. They're too busy trying to be men to understand their power as a woman. Okay. So next, number 8, the last one before we get to part 2. In the end, dating is for wusses and it's complete cowardice. It is. If you're not dating the proper way, which is what I'm just trying to go on date 1 to see if this is somebody who I could be friends with, who I'm attracted to, who we have things in common, we make each other laugh, we have a good time together so that we can go to date 2. Then date 2 is guys, then date 3, and then go on. And then we decide, okay, we're going to become exclusive. And then it's the courting phase, right? And that's how it works. So now, boom, that was quick. So now we're going to get on to part 2, all right? So try your best to hang with me. Because right now, courting is for marriage. So I said dating is for sex. Now, courting is for marriage. Why? Number 9, because when we really understand how the world really works, our goal is God, marriage, children, family, duty, responsibility. Archbishop Fulton J. Sheen said a quote that's so relevant to today's society and throughout the history of time, that men become men through responsibility and sacrifice and suffering. That's how men become men, through responsibility and sacrifice. That's how we do it. And this is why if a mother and father have boys in the home and they don't make them do nothing, I mean, once they get like 3, they should have chores. They should be cleaning their room, or at least at the minimum putting their toys up. Like if they play with their toys, your job every day as a little boy at 3 years old to pick your toys up at the end of the day and put them away. Every 3-year-old can do that. But people don't want their kids do nothing these days. Don't make them do nothing. Then the kid grows up, he's a total wuss. Walking around with black hair and black makeup and black eye makeup and stuff, tattoos all over himself, don't know who he is, ain't a real man, don't know what a real man is. And his mama and dad look at him like, man, did I create that? Yep, you sure did. I'm going to help you out. You sure did create that one. Yes, you did. You've got to make your boy, especially a boy, you've got to make him suffer and sacrifice. That's why my son Solomon, Father Ribbeker said that, well, and it's true, he's a priest, exorcist, Father Ribbeker, exorcist and stuff. He said, if you're a mother, let your son, if you're a father, especially if you're a mother, let your son, a boy ain't a boy till he breaks something. Break a wrist, break an arm, break a leg, has some kind of surgery or something. That's how you make a man. I tell you, my son Solomon, man, that boy been through some stuff. He was he when we were he was younger. The boys, I think were like 10 to 12, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. They were going to the farm, and at the farm they would learn how to, gut, take care of animals and stuff, and how to gut them and cook them, and how to you kill a pig, how to gut it and get prepared to eat and stuff like that, and the chickens and stuff. It was really great. And I'm so thankful for the families that allowed our boys and other boys. That's one of their ministries. They would allow the boys to come and to help the boys be boys. And that's what they did. They had a farm, and the boys would come, and the boys would learn how to, they would take care of the animals and stuff, and learn how to prepare them, and prepare the animals to be eaten and stuff like that. It was great. So Solomon, who's my youngest, I guess he's 9, 8, 9, 10. I don't even remember. His mama knows probably. But anyway, man, Solomon's getting there. He's got the knife, and he's cutting on the chicken. He's cutting the chicken's head off and all that. Whatever you do to chicken. I've never done it before, but And it's a live chicken. And so Solomon, he cut his finger, man. Almost cut his finger off. Boy, you thought the world was going to end, boy. But you know what? My wife was a warrior, because I was like, I knew she was going to say, he can't go there no more. But she didn't. She was tough. I just knew we was going to have problems. Solomon came home. He showed it to his mama. He had it wrapped up and got stitches and stuff. And man, he was a warrior. That was the first time he got hurt. Then he was riding his bike. I forgot how old he was. I'm not very good with dates and stuff, y'all. Then he was riding his bike. Man. Dude fell off the bike, man, and broke his wrist. Bam. Fell off his bike and broke his wrist. So what do we had to do? Take him to the hospital. He got a cast on the stuff, and everybody, how you get a cast on, everybody want to sign it. He's going to school. He's all special stuff. He's young, and that was second time. So then Solomon starts playing football. He's been playing football his whole life. Solomon started playing football when he was 6 years old, late 5 years old, something like that. So when he was in middle school in seventh grade, man, no, the beginning of his 8th grade year, Solomon, man, he was a star. Dude, man, he was a cornerback, and somehow he intercepted the ball, was running back, and he tore his Achilles, not his Achilles, his anterior cruciate ligament. Didn't know what it was. I kind of knew what it was, but we said, well, let's just see what happens. So the boy played a couple of games in a ligament that was torn. And the last game he played, man, the boy got 3 interceptions, took 1 back for a touchdown on a torn ligament, y'all. And the one interceptions he got was a miraculous interception. The ball, the receiver tipped the ball, and Solomon was far away. He ran and jumped and dove and caught the ball with one hand, got up. He got tackled on that one. But my point of what I'm saying is, then guess what? That was his first time he tore it. Then in ninth grade, the end of the year, the last game of the season, he tore it again. And guess what he did? He went to the doctor, got it repaired, man, and he went out there and played his sophomore, junior, and senior years. Nothing else ever happened. But that's what I'm saying. If you got a boy, Solomon, he's just tough. I mean, that's a boy that just, he's just tough. And all of my boys are like that. They get hurt and stuff, but Solomon was hurt more than anybody. That's why I'm telling you his story, because man, he no matter what happened, he got up and kept going. And that is how you make a man. That is how you make a man. If you are a mother and your kid is running around and you so scared he's gonna get hurt. Oh, he's gonna get hurt. Oh, he can't play football. He can't play basketball. He can't play soccer. He can't do nothing. People think that soccer is safer than football. It really ain't. People get concussions all the time in soccer, but nobody say nothing. Okay, so that is that. We got to make our boys into men. So when you make your boy into a man and he gets older and he starts dating girls, He treats them different. He's more mature. There's another thing. Boys today are so immature, ain't they? Ain't they? So if you're a father, the mother, we've got to start turning out more mature boys so if they understand their mission and what their purpose, what they're supposed to be doing. Now, the thing about boys is, and girls too, they get out here in the real world, and they make mistakes. They do stuff. But the thing about it is you can't worry about that as a parent. What you got to worry about is giving them the foundation. So when he gets out there and they make mistakes, then your training that you train them comes back, and they start going, okay, I can't do that no more, right? Okay. So that's why, because we understand how the world really works, our goal for a boy is for God, marriage, children, family, doing their responsibility. A real man who's been brought up right is trying to get married, or he's trying to go in the priesthood. That's what they're trying to do. They're not trying to sleep with everybody and abuse all the girls and go out and just have fun all the time. Sure, kids want to have fun, but my sons, I'm going to tell you, I'm not trying to brag on them. I guess I am trying to brag a little bit. But really, they want to get married. All of them. They all want to get married. And that's what you and your wife, that's what you do when you build a great marriage. All your kids want to get married. Not just get married, they want to stay married. Okay? So number 10. So number 10 of why courting is for marriage. We are seeking something greater than ourselves. Courting is unattached to the ego or selfishness. It is considering the bigger picture and understands time as a factor. What is the something bigger? A journey and eventual peace with God for the benefit of wife and children and their children and their children. This is what a man who's trying to court is thinking about. Is this the woman that's going to help me get to heaven, that I can help get to heaven, that I can be friends with, that we get along, that we care about each other? And we ain't got to sleep together to know these things. Because again, when you sleep together, what does that do? That makes things cloudy. And so if you court for a year or 6 months and you go, you know what, I don't think I like her. Or she goes, I don't think I like him. And they ain't had sex, it's easy to break up. And you could go along being friends. Matter of fact, I was on David Gray's I was a guest on David L. Gray's podcast yesterday. He's one of them Catholic podcaster and author, all the stuff. He's talks a lot about the church and stuff. And man, it's a good podcast, y'all, too, if y'all want to listen to it. But man, he said that he courted a girl, and they dated for like a year. And then at the end of that year, man, they just kind of was like, we just, I guess, we're not clicking, and they just kind of broke up. And they still cool to the day. He said they even did business ventures together. But see, man, that's a good thing. Like, they didn't sleep together, have intimate relations, all that stuff. And so when it came at the end of the courtship, they was like, they're still cool. But how many women do you know that the guy and the girl sleep together, man? And the guy want to break up, and the girl's like, She go to his car, scratch his car up, flatten his tires, go to his job, bust through the door, cause a scene, go to his mama's house, go to his daddy's house. Man, crazy. You know why? It's like I said before, women are emotional. They can't take trauma like that. And so the power of, as a man, you got to understand your power as a man and what that means. And we do have a lot of power that God has given us, but we have to learn to use it appropriately. Okay? So that's that. Number 11, marriage makes real men out of us because of the sacrifice and responsibility of giving our life away for another. We will never be true man until we have something we are willing to sacrifice, die, and give our life for. We'll never be truly happy or at peace as men. Remember Christ. This is exactly what he did and caused us to do as men. I talked about this a little bit earlier. When we are with a woman and we're trying to court her or date her, it's a suffering not to give into our passions, right? It's a suffering. It's hard. It's a sacrifice. And you know what? And you pray to God and you ask Christ to give you the strength to do right by this woman, right? And man, the payoff is this. If you decide to marry that girl, man, you're gonna have a great marriage. You might not have a great marriage, but you're gonna start off great, and you have the foundation. And the problem with boys today is nobody teaches them about suffering and sacrifice. Suffering is a good thing. Now it hurts, it's painful. I know that. Christ knew it too. But he teaches us how to be real men. And you suffer through the pain to get the bigger reward. And that's why a lot of men are empty. They're empty inside because they don't know their mission. They don't know what their purpose in this life is. They don't know what they're supposed to be doing, and it's painful to them. It's painful to men that don't know their mission. They hate it. Every day they get up. What am I doing this for? What am I here for? That's why I don't understand single men. I don't understand single men. The dudes ain't trying to be married. Well, the real reason dudes ain't trying to get married because they can get sex whenever they want. I talked to a guy yesterday. He said, man, I can call 6 women right now, tell them I miss them. They'd be over my house in 5 minutes. Dudes only get married when they look at that woman and she makes them want to be worthy, makes him want to be a better man. That's when a guy marries a woman. Women don't understand that. They think if I give him my body, he's going to love me and he's going to marry me and he's going to make me happy. That's not true. Men, we don't marry a woman. All you guys that are married right now, listen to me. Think about it. I'm not talking about you right now. I'm not talking about how your marriage is now. I'm talking about how when you think about marrying this woman, when you thinking about marrying your wife, you married her because why? The core of it is she made you want to be a better man. You know that's the truth. If you really think about it. And that's what I try to tell women all the time. I try to tell my daughter that. No man is going to marry a woman that doesn't make him want to be a better man. For her, this is the power of women that gets on my nerves that they don't know that. They give their bodies away. They give their souls away. They give their minds and hearts away for nothing. And then they get mad at the guy. The nerve women have to get mad at a man because he's just being a man. Right. He is trying to protect her. You're right. But she is responsible too. You got the nerve to get mad at a man when you opened your legs and you slept with him, and then he wasn't who you thought he was. Now you're mad. And you want to beat him up and call the police on him and have somebody kick his butt and flatten his tires and scratch up his car. You really can't blame him. He didn't keep his word, but you helped him. You actually helped him. That's not fair. But see, women, they don't think logical like that. They think like it's more emotional for them. And so this is why it's important that we understand what I'm talking about. We got to understand what we talked about. Okay. Next, 12. We are looking for that perfect woman, helpmate that can and will joy in helping me get to heaven. So basically, what we're looking for as a man, we're recording, is before we have intimacy and lip locking and all that stuff, we just want to see if this woman is somebody that I could be friends with, that I can, more importantly, be best friends with, because your wife should be your best friend. You should be her best friend. St. Paul, think about it. Ephesians 5:21-33. That's what he's talking about. I think it's verse 33. Probably got that wrong, but whatever. I'm not good at that stuff. He says, a man and a woman should leave their mother and father and go and become one flesh. What does that mean? That means, hey, man, you and that woman, your beloved, mean everything to each other. You're each other's best friend. You confide in each other. You love each other. You never let anybody come in between you, including Satan, your parents, your children, I got a client now, was in my thing. It was his wife she keeps putting the kids above him. That is completely evil. You can't put kids above your husband. You can't do that. You can't put your kids above your wife because they get resentful. Because there is no, when are people going to realize there is no family without a husband? There is no family without a wife. You need a husband and a wife to be together to keep those kids healthy, loving, psychologically fit, emotionally fit, and spiritually fit. When you disrespect your husband as a woman, and all you do is put that kid above, you don't serve your husband, and you keep putting those kids above him, how do you expect him to keep loving you like you want to be loved? You're disrespecting him as your beloved. You can't do that. And I hate it when guys come to my program and they got a problem with their wife, because that's what women do. They get mad and they get hurt. Then they want to divorce. So what do? They commandeer the kids, because women need support. Women need support in what they do. If a woman's going to leave you or divorce you or file for annulment, she needs support from other people, because she don't have the courage to do it on her own. That's how you know most of the time when a woman leaves, she's been planning it for years. She's been planning it for years. She got some knucklehead divorced woman telling her that, you girl, if I was you, I'd let him go. He ain't about nothing. You gonna let him treat you like that? There's no way in hell I'd take that. You know why divorced women talk like that? Because they was hurt. They man haters now, because they couldn't make their marriage work. And so now they're gonna act like Satan and get to your wife and talk her into leaving you. Had a guy I just talked to a couple days ago. That's what happened to him. Happened to him. Talking to divorced and single women. They influenced her. She comes home talking about she want to leave. Don't want to be with him no more. Yep. Had a client before too. Wife, you know what? She goes to all divorce. They ain't divorced, they separated, but she goes to all the divorce groups. She goes to all support groups, divorced women group, Catholic divorce group, Christian support group. She's doing all the divorce support separate groups. She ain't doing nothing and going to nothing. She's going to a psychiatrist that is telling her to leave her husband too. What support does marriage have? Where is support, the support for family and marriage and love? Where is it? It used to be, man, back in the day, people, when you had a marriage problem and you tried to leave your husband or you try to leave your wife, man, people say, look, man, you need to get your butt back home with your wife, man. Stop tripping. If a woman went home to go stay with her mother because her and her husband aren't and stuff, they would say, listen, you can stay here 30 days. But guess what? After 30 days, you need to get your butt back to your husband. He is your lover right now. He's responsible for you. We ain't responsible for you no more. But what do we people do today? These weak ass parents. I got clients come to me all the time. I had a client, man, turn into a great husband, turn into a great man. Man, any woman would love to have him as a husband. For months and months and months, the girl was with her lived with her parents. They would not kick her out. She stayed with them for like 3 years. He's in an apartment by himself, becoming a good husband. And the mother and father agreed with him that she was wrong, but the father would man up and kick her out and say, go home with your husband. Wouldn't do it. So all they did was support evil. That's all they did. The man ain't did nothing to the girl. The husband, he did nothing to her. He didn't beat her. He didn't mess around or nothing. He didn't. So he was with me, and finally, through all his praying, through all his suffering, through all his sacrifice, him and her finally started dating again. Oh, thank God. They didn't get a divorce. But man, this is what I'm trying to tell y'all, man. Most people think that marriage crisis, we're going to solve a marriage crisis problem in a day. It don't happen like that. Once your wife gets hurt or your girlfriend, fiance get hurt, man, it's hard for them. It's very hard for them for a woman to forgive when she's been hurt real bad. And so it takes time to turn that around. This is why I tell guys, man, don't stop praying. Don't stop the program. Be a warrior. Have that warrior spirit. The Holy Spirit will help you turn your wife around. And that's what happens. The only guys that fail in my program are the ones that quit. I'm telling you, that's the truth. That's the truth. That's the truth. That's the truth. They get weak and they can't take it no more and they just give up. But once you give up, Satan got you then, don't he? Yeah. So the woman you pick is supposed to be your helpmate. She's going to get you to heaven. You're going to get her to heaven. You're going to journey that family towards God. Okay. Number 13, we are looking for that one woman that can help get me, our children to heaven. See, helpmate. Our wife's job is to assist and guide us. This is what Ephesians 5 verses 21 through 33 speaks of. Okay. So I talk about that a little bit in 12, but 13, I bring it home, right? Our wives, another thing that men don't understand is we're not very good listeners until somebody makes us listen. Women, if you don't listen to your woman, whether she's your fiance, your girlfriend, or your wife, you will lose her eventually. She's gonna think you don't respect her. She's gonna think you're selfish, and she's gonna be looking for another man, or she's gonna be looking to get rid of you. You've got to listen. When your wife and your girlfriend and your fiance tell you something, these 3 women love you more than anybody else on the planet. So what does that mean? That means that they have your best interest at heart. They really do. But guys, we hard-headed. We think we could just dismiss what our woman says and we can just keep doing that, and then go do our own thing. And then things go wrong and we get mad at her, or we never look at ourselves. But I'm telling you, man, listen to my wife, even my first wife before she died. Listen to my wives, man. Dude, it's always serves me well. It always serves me well. And as a man, you must at least let her know that you're considering what she's saying. The problem with dudes is they just dismiss it. Oh, that's crazy stuff. Oh, you stupid for saying that. Stuff like that, And you can't do not, I over-exaggerate that, but even the lower forms of that, you can never dismiss what your beloved says, whether she's your girlfriend, your fiance, or your wife. Why? Because they love you more than anything. They have your best interest at heart. Nobody loves you more than they do. Nobody. They have given you their soul, their heart, their mind, their body. Okay? Our wives are our helpmates. They are our guides. And this is why I tell women, do not nag your husband because he ain't going to listen to you. You've got to guide him. Let him, suggest things and talk to him in a loving way. Don't tell your husband nothing. Just like I don't tell my wife nothing. She don't tell me nothing. Because when you tell, that's what you tell. You do that with kids or employees. Your beloved, you don't talk to him or her like that. Okay. Next, number 14. And 14. The reason courting is for marriage is because of the last 2, assist in helping me get to heaven as well as my children. We seek that perfect beloved to become one flesh. One flesh, understanding it takes 3. One flesh with my beloved wife, and both of us one flesh in God. I talk about one flesh a lot, man, because that's what St. Paul talks about. We've got to become one flesh. The Father loved Christ, the Son, so much that they produced the Holy Spirit. One flesh. You and your beloved wife loved each other so much that you produced this beautiful living soul and became one flesh. This is how you got to think about sex and making love and the marital embrace, the holy caress, whatever you want to call it, because it makes it special then. And this is why you hear a lot of Catholics that really are into the theology of the body and into the faith. We really want people to understand that Sex is not about an object. It's about it. Of course, it feels good, but it's really in the unity of the spouses. And if that unity is beautiful, then what does that mean? That means those two people leave that bedroom, they leave their house, and they go out in the world and they show everybody what a great marriage is. This is why women, it's wrong for women, they can't have kids anymore, and they start denying their husband the marital embrace. They start wanting to make love to him. That is so of Satan. Because that's the reason that God created marriage. It's the third reason, unity of the spouses. So how are you going to be a marketing effort to the world of how great a marriage can be so other children and other people want to get married when you're not bonded together, you're not making love, you're not being intimate with each other and loving each other? You can't. It's impossible. Okay? So it's important that we understand one flesh, man. It's vital. Okay? Before you get married and while you're married. 15, almost done. We are trying to become holy lovers, the men God created us to be, and ultimately the man our wife needs for a lifelong, fulfilling, holy marriage. The habit of praying for our wife and family, praying for God to send the woman I am supposed to marry, trying my best to understand how to fulfill my wife completely, to create a home environment where my wife and children can grow psychologically, emotionally, physically, and spiritually without hindrance, where I, as a husband, give them a foundation that leads them towards Christ. As a man in your home, you're responsible for everything. Don't get it twisted. You're responsible for everything. Not your wife. Not your wife, man. So what does that mean? Well, it's your job as a man to create an environment in your home that everybody in your home can grow spiritually, psychologically, emotionally, physically, all of that, emotionally. They're in a great environment that's conducive for that, which means what? You're not going around being selfish. You're taking care of business. You know, you're not losing control in the home. You're not getting mad and angry all over the place. You're not arguing and fight with your wife. You punish your kids when they need to be punished. You discipline when they need to be disciplined. You love your wife. You wife on the same page. It's a lot of things that you as a husband, you teach your wife, you teach your children. So when they go out into the world, especially your kids, they know how to talk to people and interact with people and build a loving relationship with their husband and their wife. If you don't create that, if you as a man, that's how powerful men are. We're so silly these days. We're so silly. We don't think about nothing other than pleasure. That's what gets us in trouble. We got to start realizing our home is truly our castle. And when our castle is in chaos, it's because we created that chaos. All right? And so, as for a young man who's about to get married, you should be right now, if you are a man and you're 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 25, 29, 30 years old, up to 34. If you ain't married between 16 and 34, let's just go there. Take that. You should be praying a rosary and going to adoration for your wife, for God to send you the woman that you're supposed to be married every day. You know why? Because if you can't pray for her now, how you going to pray and sacrifice for her when you marry her? And I'm going to help you. You ain't. You ain't. We're going to be wusses. We're going to be a wuss. Which means if we don't pray for our wife, if we don't pray for our family, who's going to do it? Remember, as men, we have special graces. We have special graces that we get from God to protect and defend our home. Our wife doesn't have that. So it's important that we show that and do that, okay? Last one, number 16. In the end, courting is for warriors and is heroic. It undertakes the role given to Adam by God for every man throughout eternity to protect, defend, and serve man. That's what this is about. knowing your mission as a young man, as a married man. What is my purpose? What am I supposed to be doing? Once you know these things, your marriage becomes a lot easier and things become a lot more clear. Okay? So I ask you, whom do you aspire to be? Do you aspire to be wuss or do you aspire to be warrior? Bam. Let's talk about your Catholic marriage problems. Weekdays, 10 a.m. Eastern. Live streamed on the Catholic Alpha Radical Facebook page and CatholicAlpha.com. If you're getting value from this podcast and would like more personal marriage help, visit SaveMyCatholicMarriage.com for an opportunity to work with me personally for free. Yes, within 30 days, learn how to become a better husband that attracts your wife back to you. Visit SaveMyCatholicMarriage.com and get a plan tailored specific to your marriage and situation. I've helped hundreds of men in their marriages. Allow me the chance to help you using my personal and gained experience. Visit SaveMyCatholicMarriage.com for superior coaching for your marriage. Again, SaveMyCatholicMarriage.com. That's SaveMyCatholicMarriage.com to become the man God created you to be and the husband your wife needs. Lastly, I always get the question, why don't you help women? And I always answer them, I do. So, for all of you beloved wives out there that want to reignite that feeling of emotional closeness and complete love from your hubby, consider marriage coaching and visit SaveMyCatholicMarriage.com for an improved marriage within 30 days. Hey, we back. So, in conclusion, we're done for today. I hope that helped you men understand, the effects of sex outside of marriage, that it's not just some crazy rule that God came up with. He does this. It's in the natural law. It's written on our hearts. So to not have sex with anybody other than our beloved wife. And the reason why is because it damages us. The creator, he knows he created us, right? So he knows what's harmful. And think about it. All the women that we slept with and had intimacy with and stuff like that, it never really works out. It never really does. The damage we do to them, the damage they do to us, and then the sad thing is when we do finally get married, we bring all this crazy baggage into our marriage. Women bring a lot more than men, but now you got two crazy people that's got all this baggage that they got to figure out how to deal with. And one of the great things about my program is I teach men how to deal with that. That's why, I advise a man not to marry a divorced woman, but I understand there's so many of them out there. The chances of a guy marrying a divorced woman is high. So what I do is I told my friend this weekend, I said, look, man, he's dating a divorced woman now. I said, man, you know what that means. He's like, I know, because he went through my program. I said, I know. I said, you gotta be on top of your game all the time with a divorced woman, because she's got a lot of pain and she's got a lot of hangups. And as soon as things start going wrong, she's gonna make you pay. And you gotta know how to get rid of that stuff. And so this is where I'm telling you, if you're divorced and you got an annulment and all that kind of stuff, and you get ready to get with another woman, you're dating a woman who's divorced or has an annulment, you gotta know what you're getting into. That's not like marrying a single woman who's never been married before. People got this crazy thing that, well, we lived together, we was married. No, man, that's not marriage. First of all, just because you're living together, there ain't no commitment there. Ain't no commitment nowhere in that. Right? When you live with somebody, you just playing house. You ain't doing a dang thing but playing house. It's like lesbians, right? They ain't doing nothing. That's what they ain't doing, a dang old thing. They playing. So anyway, we are done for the day. I just hope that helped you guys. And I hope that you if you have children, that you do your best to try to, I hope, to tell them and talk to them and let them know the things. You've got to be able to tell your kids the reason why you don't want them having intimacy with other people. They've got to understand the consequences. And then once you tell them, then it's on them. You can't make them. They're grown. You can't, or especially, or if they're little kids too, teenagers, they're going to do what they're going to do. But at least you did your part. Okay. So as we always do, we end with a quote from Pope Benedict XVI, which states, society offers you comfort, but you weren't made for comfort. You were made for greatness. Now go forth, Christian soldier. The spiritual fight is upon you. Fast, pray, and prepare for battle. Thank you for listening in today. If what you heard helped you in any way and you would like more personal attention, visit SaveMyCatholicMarriage.com for superior marriage coaching. And remember to join the Catholic Alpha Radical Live podcast as a caller or listener every Monday through Friday, 10 a.m. Eastern. To join as a caller, dial area code 313-RADICAL. To join as a listener or view the live stream, visit the Catholic Alpha Radical Live Facebook page or visit CatholicAlpha.com for Catholic marriage help that actually works. Bam!